Developing tonight, family members are furious that a retired Orlando cop is living with the young children who reportedly watched him shoot and kill his adult son.
Then planted himself 2 times, shot my baby 2 times in the chest. And that's a father, that's a policeman.
Now, it's important to note that Davis's wife asked a judge to let him come home to continue caring for the young daughter who's expected to testify against him at trial.
And it's the in-laws from West Palm Beach who fear for the children's safety. Channel 9's Kathy Bellich talked with those family members and asked DCF why it didn't fight it. Kathy?
Well, DCF wouldn't tell us how long Davis has been back here living at the same home where he shot and killed his son, but he's been here for a while, and the Davises would not talk to us. We tried to talk to former Orlando police lieutenant turned murder defendant Tim Davis today, but no one answered the door. His sister-in-law is worried about him living here with her sister and their children, who are witnesses. She's traveled to Orlando from Fort Lauderdale 3 times this week trying to get someone to listen to her.
Shot, this was on film. Then planted himself 2 times, shot my baby 2 times in the chest.
Davis's security video shows him walking to his car, getting his gun, pointing it at his son and firing. He told Apopka police he missed the first time, so he fired again and admitted his son was not fighting with him at the time.
He's a murderer. A plumb murder. His daughter actually seen him kill her brother.
You can see his daughter Tyra on the video. She saw the whole thing, and initially DCF kept him from living here with her. But its position changed after a psychiatrist said Davis was not dangerous. We asked the prosecutor after Davis's pretrial hearing today if he's worried Davis will now pressure his daughter to change her story.
The judge has already made some rulings regarding his bond conditions, so if something new comes up, we'll deal with it.
Most defendants cannot have contact with witnesses.
Her testimony is locked down by the fact that she's testified before the grand jury.
Now, the judge has ordered Davis not to talk to his daughter about the case, but her aunt questions how well that will work. Now, Davis's trial was coming up in 2 weeks, but today his attorneys convinced the judge to put it off. Reporting live in Apopka, Kathy Bellich, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Senior is charged with the shooting death of his son, and it was all caught on his home surveillance video. Channel 9's Kathy Bellich is live at the Orange County Courthouse, where the hearing will happen later this afternoon. Now, Kathy, Davis's attorneys say the video should be thrown out because of problems with the warrant.
That's right. Davis's lawyers will argue here this afternoon that the warrant Apopka police used to search his house listed narcotics violations instead of an alleged murder, which makes the warrant illegal. And they are also arguing that the warrant was overbroad. This security video from retired Orlando Police Lieutenant Timothy Davis's home is very damaging to his defense, so his lawyers are fighting to keep it out of his upcoming trial. The video shows Davis rummaging in his car for 33 seconds before pulling out a gun, aiming it at his son Timothy Jr. and firing. Davis says his son had struck him and injured him earlier and that he had a right to stand his ground and defend himself, but the video shows no imminent threat. Davis shot his son twice in October 2011 during an argument over a child custody issue involving the retired lieutenant's son's young child and the child's mother. The search warrant mentions a narcotics violation, but then goes on to list what evidence Apopka police were looking for: clothing, gun evidence, bloodstains, and any other evidence pertaining to the shooting death of Timothy Davis Jr. Our legal analyst says those specifics will likely lead the judge to determine it was a Scrivener's error similar to a typo and to keep in the evidence. The video shows the retired officer's 9-year-old daughter running for cover after witnessing the shooting. The two are under the same roof, and Davis's attorney says the daughter has changed her story and now says she did not see the shooting. Now, Davis reportedly cried after he opened fire on his son and said he just lost it. Davis's lawyers will also argue here this afternoon that his statements should be thrown out as well. Reporting live at the Orange County Courthouse, Kathy Bellich, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
We saw the former Orlando police officer accused of murdering his son in court this afternoon as his lawyers tried to keep some key evidence out of the case. And that includes this home surveillance video that prosecutors say shows Tim Davis opening fire on his son in 2011. Channel 9's Kathy Bellich just stepped out of the courtroom, and Kathy, the judge said that evidence stays in.
She did, even though the defense pointed out here late this afternoon that the search warrant said Apopka police were investigating narcotics violations, not a murder. But the judge ruled that it was most likely a simple word processing error. Retired Orlando Police Lieutenant Timothy Davis's lawyer says every day since he shot and killed his son Timothy Jr. is still very difficult. His own security video of the October 2011 shooting might be a significant difficulty for his defense team. The video, first obtained by Channel 9, shows Davis rummaging in his car for more than 30 seconds before he grabbed a gun, aimed and fired at his son. A second shot was fired off camera, and police say that was the deadly shot. The defense wanted the judge to throw out this video and other physical evidence police seized from the Davis home because the search warrant said they were investigating narcotics violations rather than a murder.
When it's bits and pieces, it's insufficient, and it's not probable cause, and it cannot be good faith. And I'd ask for this evidence to be suppressed. Thank you.
The prosecutor argued that it was a simple mistake, and the specific evidence police listed that they were looking for in connection with the shooting of Davis's son was also included on the warrant.
So anyone looking at this warrant, exercising good faith, as the police clearly did, would know exactly what they're looking for, and that's exactly what they found.
The judge did not throw out the evidence. Davis left court without answering our questions.
Any easier for you after all this time has passed?
Now, Davis's lawyer also wants the judge to throw out statements Davis made after he opened fire. He said he just lost it, but now he's saying that he was defending himself against his son who had attacked him and hurt his leg. Davis could face trial here in October. Reporting live at the Orange County Courthouse, Kathy Bellich, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Channel 9's Kathy Bellich was in court today for another major story. Former Orlando Police Lieutenant Tim Davis was trying to convince a judge he was just standing his ground when he shot and killed his adult son during an argument. One of the key witnesses was Davis's young daughter. And Kathy, she had a tough time sitting through those questions about her father killing her brother, but she did defend Davis.
She did. She broke down the first time she was asked to talk about what happened that night. She looked at her father often before she answered the lawyer's questions. And she told the judge her father didn't mean to shoot and kill her brother. Accused murderer Tim Davis Sr. broke down during and after his daughter Tyra's testimony today. She had to leave her 5th grade class to testify at his Stand Your Ground hearing because she saw the deadly shooting in the family's driveway. She testified that the first shot her father fired was aimed straight up in the air.
He opened up his trunk, he got a gun, and he put it up, he pointed it up in the air, and when it was coming down, it got him. It got Timmy.
But Davis's own home security video, first obtained by Channel 9, shows that Davis took the gun out of his car and immediately aimed it at his son Tim Jr. and fired. He walked out of view and fired a second shot, which was the fatal shot. It happened a year ago at their Apopka home after father and son argued and got into a physical fight. But Davis has changed his story about whether his son was actually threatening him at the time he opened fire. He told police he just lost it when he shot his son. This is what he told the judge under oath today.
I got the gun, and as I retrieved it, I saw him coming at me, and I was like, "Get back, Timmy, get back!" And he kept coming towards me.
Davis told a different story to the grand jury. We're working to tell you more about that at 6 and what our legal analyst says about the damage that could cause to Davis's case. Reporting live at the Orange County Courthouse, Kathy Bellich, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Davis is charged with murdering his son. Eyewitness News this morning's Denage Broom is live at the courthouse. Denage, Davis says he killed his son in self-defense.
That's right. The two had gotten into an argument, and Davis Sr. says he ended up shooting his son in self-defense. Now, the defense did try to have a stand your ground motion passed, but a judge did shoot that down. So now it's going to trial.
This is very emotional, and it's emotional because it's a family that's involved.
22-year-old Timothy Davis Jr. was shot and killed in 2011. Police say his father and former Orlando Police Lieutenant Tim Davis Sr. is the man responsible for his death. This is surveillance video from Davis's Apopka home that October. Investigators say the father and son got into an argument and that Jr. pushed his father and injured his knee. But they also say Senior went to his car during the argument, got a gun, and shot his son twice.
You usually don't have video on the stand your ground arguments. We do in this case, but don't forget the defense will argue, wait a minute, the video doesn't tell the entire tale, and what we see in the video is open to interpretation.
Prosecutors say the shooting was premeditated because Senior had time to go to his car and get the gun. The whole thing happened in front of Senior's 9-year-old daughter, who testified during the stand your ground hearing.
And that jury selection is scheduled to start here at 8:30 this morning. Now, I have gone through his past with the Orlando Police Department. Coming up in 30 minutes, I'll tell you about his 26-year career at the department. For now, live in Orange County, Denaige Broom, Eyewitness News this morning.
A former Orlando cop is on trial for murdering his own son. Today, Tim Davis clenched his jaw and wiped his eyes as attorneys for both sides questioned juror after juror.
And a jury was sworn in just within the last hour.
Once testimony begins, Tim Davis's attorneys will try to convince them he opened fire on his own flesh and blood because Davis was scared for his life. Channel 9's Kathy Bellich was in court all day to make sure you didn't miss a minute. And she joins us live now outside of the Orange County Courthouse. Kathy, this jury was seated pretty quickly for a high-profile case like this.
One day is unusually fast, especially because so many people knew about the case and had even seen the incriminating video. And the reaction of many to that video was not good for Davis. Often there are no eyewitnesses, no video. In this case, there are both. Davis's 9-year-old daughter saw it happen. Channel 9 was first to obtain this key evidence, video of Tim Davis Sr. opening fire on his son Tim Jr. He first told police he just lost it during a fight, but later claimed self-defense. Davis might have been trying to send a message by setting his Bible on the defense table, but one prospective juror who saw this video had a different take on the Bible.
According to my religion, Catholic, specified in the Bible, to not kill, no matter what.
Davis clenched his jaw as he listened to several potential jurors talk about their impressions of this video.
I would be interested he shouldn't have shot his son because, it was outrage.
Some danced around whether they could put their first impressions of this video aside, but WFTV legal analyst Bill Schaefer says if he were defending Davis, he would never want anyone who's already seen this video on the jury.
You don't take away from that video that there was any sense of danger as to Davis when he pulled the gun and shot him.
This interruption caught Davis a stern warning from the judge. His cell phone rang loudly hours after the judge made all prospective jurors completely turn off their cell phones to prevent that very thing from happening.
Mr. Davis, hold on one second, State. Mr. Davis, will you turn that off, please?
Now, Davis couldn't turn it off, and his cell phone was taken from him. His young daughter will testify, and the prosecutor will use her grand jury testimony, which is usually secret, if she tries to change her story to protect her father. He could go to prison for the rest of his life if he's convicted of second-degree murder. Reporting live at the Orange County Courthouse, Kathy Bellich, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
We were in court today to see former Orlando cop Tim Davis tear up several times during opening statements as his lawyer explained to the jury why he's innocent in the death of his son. But jurors spent the rest of the day hearing prosecutors and investigators call him a murderer. Channel 9's Kathy Bellich heard both sides too. And Kathy, one of the big pieces of evidence against Davis was his emotional statement to police.
The jurors were listening closely as they heard Davis in a recorded statement say that he was in a funk after his son had beaten him. He went downstairs, went to his car, got his gun, and opened fire. No expressions from the jurors or from Davis. At least one juror looked at retired Orlando Police Lieutenant Tim Davis as the prosecutor played Davis's recorded statement about how he had shot and killed his son, Tim Jr.
I just lost it. And I'm not proud of it. So I pride myself on being a man and being a cool, level-headed person.
Earlier, Davis left the courtroom during the medical examiner's testimony about his son's gunshot wounds, and he wiped tears away as he heard testimony about the fight he and his son had before he fired the deadly shot. The defense says Davis was badly beaten by his son before he went out to his car to get his gun and told the jury Davis slowly fired 2 shots just to scare his son.
Timmy has now taking off his shirt, flexing his muscle, and is approaching Mr. Davis. At that time, Mr. Davis fired, not intending to hit his son, but to scare him.
But Davis's neighbor and a deputy who was running track nearby both heard the shots and say they were fired in rapid succession. And the prosecutor says that's because they were deliberate.
Striding toward the garage where the son is, looking down the barrel of the gun with the laser sight and shooting at his son.
Now, as a former police officer, Davis would have been trained to shoot to kill. And the jurors were taking notes avidly as they listened to a state gun expert talk about how that laser sight on Davis's gun would have helped him aim more accurately when he fired at his son. Reporting live at the Orange County Courthouse, Kathy Bellich, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Prosecution rested today in the case of Tim Davis Sr., and the defense is now presenting its case.
And Tim Davis's wife was one of the first witnesses called this morning by his defense attorney, and she got so emotional she had to leave the courtroom but later returned to the stand. Her husband, of course, is on trial for killing their son at the home in Apopka last year. Channel 9's Kathy Bellich was in the courtroom all morning. Kathy, it was hard for even you to watch that.
It was very hard. It's one of the worst breakdowns in court that I have ever seen. And Tarsha Davis broke down when the defense asked her how many children she has. She's already lost her son, Tim Jr., and she faces the possibility of losing her husband if he's convicted, because he could go to prison for the rest of his life.
Go ahead and have the jury follow the deputy out for a minute.
Tarsha Davis was called by the defense to testify about the events that led up to her husband shooting and killing her son. She collected her emotions and came back to the witness stand. The state rested after showing the jury the video that it says shows Tim Davis Sr. taking a gun out of his car and immediately aiming and firing at his son. The jury saw zoomed in slow motion versions, and though the defense said Davis's knees had been badly hurt minutes earlier during a fight with his son, Davis appeared to have no trouble walking or standing. Davis wiped tears and clutched his Bible as the jury watched that video of him opening fire. Now, the state caught the defense by surprise by not calling the Davis's young daughter, Tyra, to the witness stand. She saw the shooting. And at a previous hearing, the child changed her story from her testimony at the grand jury. We don't know whether the defense will call her as a witness now, but we do know they will call Tim Davis Sr. to the stand for him to testify in his own defense. Reporting live at the Orange County Courthouse, Kathy Bellich, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
A former Orlando cop spent much of today on the stand trying to defend himself in his son's murder.
Tim Davis Sr.'s emotions ranged from sadness and tears to anger at prosecutors. Channel 9's Kathy Bellich heard every word and discovered it was not the same story he told the grand jury that indicted him.
I had my hand on his, behind his head and just hanging there.
Retired Orlando Police Lieutenant Tim Davis got choked up on the stand as he talked about tending to his son after he had shot Tim Jr. He told the jury that when he told police that night he was in a funk after he and his son had gotten into a physical fight, this is what he meant.
I was dazed. I was disoriented. I was dizzy. I was hurt. I was lethargic. I was scared.
The prosecutor got Davis to admit major inconsistencies between what he told the grand jury under oath and what he said today on the stand. The prosecutor repeated questions Davis was asked about what he told the grand jury he did with his gun as soon as he took it out of his car.
When you got the gun, what do you do with it? Do you point it, put it in your pocket? And you said, no, I had the gun, I got the gun, and start walking, correct?
Correct.
Davis said that to the grand jury before he knew his own security camera had captured a much different scene showing Davis pull out the gun and immediately fire in his son's direction. He told the grand jury both shots were almost simultaneously, but he's telling this jury there was a long pause between what he now calls warning shots. When the prosecutor asked why Davis never told police he fired in self-defense, he said he didn't realize then that Apopka police had an agenda. But the retired police lieutenant was never able to say what agenda he thought that Apopka police had or why. And the judge had to take a break today so that Davis could hand over the Bible he should not have taken to the witness stand for the jury to see. Witnesses cannot take anything to.
This is not a case where he is defending himself from his son. This is a case where he is retaliating against his son.
Closing arguments are now underway in the case against a former Orlando cop who killed his son, and prosecutors are asking the jury not to buy Tim Davis's argument of self-defense. Tim Davis Sr. claimed he opened fire on his son just to scare him.
But prosecutors say that is one of several stories he told police about what happened the day he shot his son at their home in Apopka last year. And soon a jury will begin to sort it all out. Channel 9's Kathy Belich is live at the Orange County Courthouse. And Kathy, jurors are expected to get this case sometime this afternoon.
That's right. The prosecutor told the jury that Davis might have told police the night he shot and killed his son that he's a man, that he'll fess up to what he did, that he just lost it. He wasn't proud of it, but the prosecutor said today Davis is not that stand-up guy. Now he's lying, telling 3 different stories to get out of taking legal responsibility for murdering his son. The jury saw this video again today and heard Davis's confession again, how he thought his first shot missed his son, then he fired again. Now Davis claims they were just warning shots. The prosecutor says the video shows this case is a second-degree murder, that Davis intentionally fired with ill will, and that his son was not charging at him at the time, and he was not telling his son to get back. The defense then told the jury during its closing argument that this video doesn't tell the whole story, that it only shows Davis firing one shot.
At that moment, maybe not 10 minutes earlier, but at that moment when he's getting the gun, he's got an evil intent, he's got ill will toward his son, he's got hatred, he's got spite. At that moment when he's getting the gun and when he's shooting, he is certainly not feeling any love in his heart.
No one other than Mr. Davis, as testified in this case, knows what happened in the garage. Mr. Altman don't know. We'll have a clue. Mere speculation.
The defense says the deadly shooting was a tragedy and nothing more. If Davis is convicted of second-degree murder, he could go to prison for the rest of his life. But the prosecutor told the jury not to think about what consequences Davis might face. That's for the judge to decide. He just told the jury not to let Davis lie about what he did and get away with murder. Reporting live at the Orange County Courthouse, Kathy Belich, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Now to a story that has everyone talking, a not guilty verdict in the case against a former Orlando cop who was accused of murdering his son. Channel 9's Lori Brown is live outside the Orange County Courthouse. And Lori, our legal analyst says this case shows that even video evidence doesn't make a case a slam dunk.
Vanessa, it is not often that you see video of a shooting as it happened, but in this case, the jury believed the video did not tell the whole story.
An emotional moment outside the courtroom moments after former Orlando police officer Timothy Davis Sr. found out he is a free man. It only took jurors 5 hours to find Davis not guilty of murdering his son.
While this was a victory for the Davises in one way, it was a loss still because the loss of his son. He truly loved his son, and nothing can replace that.
This surveillance video is what made the verdict so surprising. It partially captured the shooting that happened at Davis's home in 2011. Prosecutors argued Davis killed his son in a fit of rage after a physical fight. Davis's attorney argued the shooting was in self-defense.
But the video only told part of the story, and when it was up to us to tell the rest of the story, the jury listened and came out with the right verdict.
Davis told 3 different stories about what happened and even confessed. He first said he just lost it after his son beat him up.
It just really says you never know what a jury is going to do. Arguing reasonable doubt is a very powerful argument, very powerful jury instruction, and jurors take that very, very seriously.
Davis had faced life in prison if he had been convicted. Reporting live in Orlando, Lori Brown, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.